Thanks for being with us here on CBS News Chicago. I'm Marie Saavedra in our newsroom, and we are bringing you another installment of our interviews with the aldermanic candidates for the April 4th runoff election in the city of Chicago. Joining me now is Alderman Timmy Knudsen of the 43rd Ward, aiming to keep his seat. How are you? Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Starting with our first question for all of the candidates. For you, it's a little bit different because you already have the job as the incumbent, but why do you want to keep your place within Chicago City Council?
I mean, this is a great job. The city is coming up on a lot of change, and I'm happy to bring in, I was at a law firm before this, so my private sector leadership and some public sector leadership to help kind of add a good voice into City Council for the 43rd Ward.
What would you say is the number one issue in your ward right now, and what is your solution for that going forward?
Yeah, the number one issue is crime. It's on the mind of a lot of 43rd Ward residents. I know this from knocking the doors. From day one being in office, I've gotten right to work on this. We've funded more cameras, more police observation devices through our ward's infrastructure budgets. I've been able to co-sponsor 3 bills, cracking down on illegal guns, increasing CTA safety, and protecting against crimes against first responders on council. And now looking forward into a new council, I'm going to be advocating for a community policing approach as we get a new CPD superintendent.
So voters ousted an incumbent mayor. There's going to be an unprecedented number of new aldermen. How does that context, that newness, impact how you look at this job of alderman should you keep it?
Yeah, new can be very good. I think that we all need to be working together on council to advance good change for this city. My leadership style is very pragmatic, very collaborative, and I'm looking forward to working together with these new councilors to get stuff done.
Alderman Timmy Knudsen of the 43rd Ward, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Joining us now is the second candidate in the race for the 43rd Ward, Brian Comer. Brian, thank you for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
My first question is the same to every candidate. Why do you want to be alderman?
The 43rd Ward is my forever home. I was born and raised here. And, the way the city's been going the last 4 or 5 years, I can't just stand by and not throw my hands up and say, hey, I can help. What's happening citywide is also happening in the 43rd Ward. Public safety is a massive issue. It's actually issue 1, 2, and 3 for our residents here, but also economic development, constituent services, fully funding our schools, and making sure we have proper green space for our wonderful residents and business owners.
You touched on what my second question is, which is what is the number one issue in the 43rd Ward, but also what are the solutions that you have to tackle the problem?
Well, yeah, it is the biggest concern for residents, and we've heard that for the last 6 months knocking doors, but I'm also president of the Sheffield Neighborhood Association here in our community. And so we've been aware of this for several years, and residents, have come to us. But it's one of the reasons that Chicago Tribune endorsed me twice as the best candidate for this position is my position on public safety. I want to use the wonderful assets we have here in 43 to help rebuild our police force. There's a 2,000 officer deficit citywide. That represents 80 officers not on the street in both the 18th and 19th districts. DePaul University, wonderful graduates. Most of those students are on financial aid. I want to develop a pilot program with them and the CPD to recruit their wonderful college graduates and ask them to serve the CPD for 4 years. At the end of that 4th year, we'll provide them a bonus payment commensurate to 1 year's worth of college tuition. That's a huge carrot for a mid-20s, professional that is carrying maybe $100,000, $150,000 worth of debt, because now they can consider, putting down roots somewhere, family planning. And that's a big carrot. And this is a very acute problem, and we need innovative solutions to solve it. But we also want to make sure that there's officers that get on, back on the beat as soon as possible. So I want to redirect the funds in the CPD budget to get more officers out from behind desks and onto the streets. We need more beat officers. And that includes inviting those officers that maybe recently left for other jobs in the suburbs or other towns that we know want to come back and serve the city of Chicago. And then also when we talk about retirees, it would be wonderful to bring them back, and they can actually help maybe our detectives, with back office research to allow those detectives to spend more time out on the streets gathering evidence and solving crimes.
Voters ousted the incumbent mayor. There's going to be a slew of new aldermen that could include yourself in City Hall. How does that newness shape the way you're looking at this job?
Well, it's exciting because there'll be a 40% turnover. And, that means that you're not going to have entrenched power, especially when there's going to be a new mayor. So I believe strongly that the conversation will return back to the public forum. So gone are the days where you get an ordinance emailed to you at 10:30 at night and you vote on it, first thing in the morning. The alders are going to have more power than they've ever had, and that's because there's not going to be an entrenched power in the mayoral seat. And that's great for the taxpayers and the residents of Chicago because they're going to be more aware. I'm always about transparency, and I want to make our city government more transparent. We have to do a much better job. Our budget is funded by taxpayer dollars, and the taxpayer should be easily aware, or at least be able to find how their money is being spent, and it's not right now. It's not that easy.
Brian Comer, running for alderman of the 43rd Ward. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
And be sure to stay with us here on CBS News Chicago as we continue to profile the candidates for aldermen in Chicago's runoff municipal election, April 4th.